Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, November 26, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems, so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather's been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the Global Tropics Hazards Outlook from the US Climate Prediction Center. So this just came out today, and they have for the time period from December 4 to December 10. Across the Caribbean, we see some light shades of greens, some green colors, and some darker shades of greens. And if we take a look at what that represents on the key at the bottom left, that represents above average rainfall probability. And look at the time frame that is being forecasted for. We're talking about heading into the second week of December, and that's quite interesting considering that Jamaica is in the mix. And usually as we head into December across the island of Jamaica, we're beginning our first month of the dry season actually. So it's going to be interesting if we're actually getting on some amount of rainfall during the first and second week of December for real. We also see that even during the second week heading into the third week of December, that's December 11 to December 17, we still see some amount of above normal of rainfall, more so on the low end of the scale, just a 50% chance probability. But we see that the first 2 weeks, definitely anywhere from 50% chance to 65 all the way up to an 80% chance probability. And we don't see any reds or red and white patterns that represents tropical system formation at all. We see most of that across the Indian Ocean and across the waters right there to the northwest of Australia. And we even see some activity into the Western Pacific, south of Taiwan, into the Philippines, heading into China, Vietnam. We'll see exactly what happens, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted if it actually occurs, because we know that we have a lot of Jamaicans who live or work in other areas of the world. So it's not just always all about Jamaica all the time. We have to be focusing on those Jamaicans who live elsewhere. If we take a look at the latest 7-day graphical tropical weather look from the US National Hurricane Center, we can see the latest update just came out at 6:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this just came out more than 30 minutes ago, considering that it's 7:05 p.m. right now. And we can see that tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days. But we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days hold in terms of the latest Euro and the GFS Supercomputer model forecast. And we're going to be focusing our attention on timestamp right there at the top. So we're going on to the next 7 days, the next 168 hours. And we're going to be focusing our attention right here across the Caribbean. And we're going to be looking for this that we see on the key on the right. The reds, the oranges, the yellows, the greens. That represents inches of rainfall. 1 inch of rainfall in the greens. The darker greens heading up into the 5 inches of rainfall range. The yellows, the 6, the 8, oranges or the gold into the oranges, all the way up to the 12 inches of rainfall. And for reference, we have Jamaica right here. So let us see what the next 7 days hold in terms of rainfall before we look at the GFS. Alright, so as we head out in time, we see that as we head into Wednesday, 6:00 on Wednesday is actually 1 a.m. on Wednesday, November 27. And we see a lot of rainfall, lots of greens, especially to the south of Jamaica, heading all the way down into portions of Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, Colombia right there. So a lot of rainfall expected tonight. As we head into 7 a.m., 12:00 on Wednesday, 7 a.m., we still see a lot of rainfall, even spilling into portions of southern Hispaniola, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. Heading into Thursday, not much difference. Still see a lot of rainfall. 12:00 on Thursday is actually 7 a.m. And even as we head into Friday, still see a lot of rainfall. That trough is definitely going to be lingering. Even into Saturday, we still have some amount of rainfall, but more so on the isolated side. We're seeing an increase in more of the whites that represent more sunshine, if not partly cloudy skies. Look at what's happening Sunday. Still see a lot of rainfall to the south of Jamaica. Not much on land, but definitely some hit or miss isolated showers still to come. Monday, still see much of the same rainfall in and around the island, especially across the southwestern Caribbean. And we're going to be stopping right there at 12Z on Tuesday, December 3. So 12Z is actually 7 a.m. on Tuesday. And we still see a lot of rainfall right there, stretching all the way from eastern Honduras into eastern Nicaragua, sections of eastern Costa Rica. We see a lot of rainfall, more so isolated showers here and there, hit or miss, especially into portions of eastern Cuba, the southern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Hispaniola, in and around Jamaica in general. If we take a look at the latest GFS supercomputer model run that just came out an hour ago, this is the 18Z run. We're going to be going on to the next one in 68 hours. So as we head to 12Z on Wednesday, which is actually 7 a.m. on Wednesday, we do see the greens that represent the moisture anywhere from 1 all the way up to maybe 3, maybe 4 inches of rainfall for sure, especially across the waters to the south of Jamaica. It already makes sense. We saw the latest infrared satellite images showing a lot of convection to the south of us. We have Jamaica right here. You can see the yellows, the oranges, the reds, lots of showers and thunderstorm activity taking place right there, especially across the waters to the south of us. If there are fishermen out at sea, they're definitely getting in on the bad weather as we speak. Let's continue to look at what the latest models are forecasting. So as we head into Thursday, not much change, still a lot of rainfall. We even see some darker greens, some yellows, oranges and reds in there, especially to the south of the western peninsula of Haiti. Friday, still a lot of rainfall to come right there to the south of the island of Jamaica. Saturday and Sunday, not much change, but we're starting to see more of that rainfall heading into portion of Central America than across Jamaica. Starting to get in on a break as we head into late Sunday, Monday, as we continue to go to in time. We still see a lot of rainfall, and I hope that you guys can make out the isobars right here pushing in from more so northeast to southwest to indicate that there could be some kind of a frontal system coming in, causing more of a northeasterly kind of flow, stringing out a lot of moisture, stretching all the way from northern portion of North Atlantic. So more than likely, another frontal system going to be bringing a lot more rainfall to especially northern parishes in Jamaica by the end of the 7 days. So let's wrap it up right here. So 18th on Tuesday, December 3. We start to see breaks in the rainfall for sure, but we still have a lot of rainfall expected across the southwestern Caribbean, definitely across sections of Nicaragua, Honduras, Costa Rica, Panama, going to be getting in a lot of rainfall. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast for a lot of rainfall across the southwestern Caribbean. And it makes sense that the accumulated precipitation forecast, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS, they're both showing all of the rainfall that's expected to accumulate, that's expected to pile up over the next 7 days across the Caribbean. So it's showing all of the rainfall from now up until Tuesday, December 3. And we can make out the rainfall as represented by the greens, the yellows, oranges, reds. But we're talking about these colors right here. We're talking about the burgundies into the purples, pinks, peach colors, all the way up into the blue colors. That represents anywhere from 2 all the way up, maybe up to 8, maybe even 10 inches of rainfall. And we see a lot of rainfall definitely in store for portions of the Bahamas, sections of Jamaica, sections of Central America. We're talking about Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, section of Colombia, western Venezuela, getting on some of the heaviest rainfall too. And even especially eastern Jamaica still to be getting in on a lot more rainfall, even although we've been getting plagued all day today with a lot of rainfall. Some areas more than others. Some other areas might have been getting in on more light to moderate rainfall. Some other areas getting in on some flooding rainfall. If you take a look at the latest GFS, not much difference. Still a lot of rainfall in store. We know we usually look at both the Euro and the GFS models for agreement, for consensus, and we definitely have the consensus. We even see some consensus in an increasing rainfall across a portion of Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, and northeastern Venezuela too. And we even see a lot of rainfall in store for portions of Nicaragua. Look at those blues. That we know represents anywhere from 12 all the way up to maybe 20 inches of rainfall. That's just ridiculous if that actually verifies. And if we take a look at the close-up accumulated precipitation forecast, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Tuesday, December 3. And we see the Euro definitely showing a lot of yellows, oranges, pinks, reds, even some purples. That represents anywhere from 30 all the way up to 150 or 175 millimeters of rainfall. We see the number right there off the east coast of Portland, all the way up to 222 millimeters of rainfall still to come according to this latest Euro run. But we clearly see the most rainfall still to come for a portion of eastern Jamaica. We're talking about St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. The GFS is showing something similar, but it's starting from the blues all the way up into the greens, the yellows, the oranges, the pinks, the reds, and ending up into the purples. That represents anywhere from 15 all the way up to 150 or maybe 175 millimeters of rainfall. And just like the Euro, the GFS is also showing that the most rainfall should be across eastern parishes. We're talking about St. Mary, Portland, maybe Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas, especially getting in on the brunt of the rainfall left to come over the next 7 days. So there could definitely be some more isolated flash flooding in some spots. We'll see exactly what unfolds. I hope everybody is on their P's and Q's. I think the Meteorological Service issued a flash flood watch recently for especially eastern parishes until 5 p.m. on Wednesday. We'll see if we actually get some more of this flash flooding taking place. And I definitely have some footage coming out showing the destruction that some have this heavy rainfall caused across section of the island today. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we have these H's right here. These are ridges of high pressure that we know are responsible for sending a lot of easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. We can see right here broken orange lines right here to the east of Trinidad and Tobago, right here across the waters to the northeast of South America, associated with a trough. Another trough right here across Hispaniola, stretching all the way up into the southern Bahamas. Another trough right here across the southwestern Caribbean. More than likely, these are the ones that have been moistening up the atmosphere across Jamaica. And we can see this red line right here across the southern main development region that we know is responsible for all of the clouds that we usually see piling up across the southern main development region. That's the intertropical convergence zone, and that area is usually moist. And we can see all of these entities being represented by what we see on the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down. We can definitely see that line signifying us losing the sunlight, day turning to night. We can make out the clouds associated with the troughs, still bring some out of cloud showers and thunderstorms to a portion of the central Caribbean into the western Caribbean, reaching all the way from the Bahamas into eastern Cuba, Hispaniola, Haiti, Dominican Republic. You can see some fast moving low level thunderstorm clouds pushing from east to west with that easterly flow. Behind all of this, we see more of a northerly kind of flow into Central America. So section of Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, section of Nicaragua definitely getting on some amount of rainfall from the north, but the heaviest of the weather right there off to the south of Jamaica across the entire western hemisphere as we speak. And we saw what the infrared satellite images were showing. If we reload these images, the very latest infrared satellite imagery, let us see, the latest one just came out at, this is 0 UTC, so this is 12 a.m. Well, 12 a.m. UTC is actually 7 p.m. Jamaica time, and we can definitely see what's taking place across the waters towards south and the east as we speak. The strongest thunderstorms right now, and we still have that upper level wind shear pushing all of those clouds to the north. So maybe we might get on some more rainfall tonight, or maybe most of the rainfall might just push towards Haiti. We'll see exactly what unfolds, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted, especially if we are going to be in for a lot more bad weather tonight into tomorrow. Alright, so we'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean a little later on. let us focus your attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Tuesday, November 26, 2024. It was stated that rain is in the forecast for a section of most parishes in Jamaica late tonight, that was last night, Monday night, into Tuesday, November 26th. And it was stated that isolated flash flooding would have been possible in some spots, so stay alert. And you were also informed to watch this video on YouTube with added timestamps, guys. I'm not forcing anyone here to sit and watch the entire video. I know persons have busy lives to live. Skip through the video, fast forward the video, use the timestamps. Skip the introduction if you please to do so. Watch where the rainfall is occurring now. Watch the footage of the flooding. Watch what the rainfall forecast is like for tomorrow. Save time. Okay, alright. Let us continue. So we were talking about most parishes getting in on some amount of rainfall. So we're talking about northern parishes. We're talking about southern parishes. Northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. While southern parishes, we're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. And when we're talking about eastern parishes, central and western parishes, what are we referring to? Well, we know that western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. While eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew. And what ended up happening? The Cuban Doppler radar images were posted on our social media platforms around 10:30 p.m. on Monday night, highlighting that parts of St. Mary, Portland, and St. Thomas were seeing some moderate to heavy rainfall. And we know that the moderate to heavy rainfall is represented by the green and the yellow colors. On the Cuban Doppler radar images, the greens represent moderado. When translated to English from Spanish, it's moderate rainfall. And the fuerte represents strong or heavy rainfall. We definitely got to know some of that last night across section of St. Thomas. I live in St. Thomas, definitely got to know some of the moderate rainfall. And we also got some heavy rainfall across sections of Portland, spilling into sections of St. Mary as well. And then another post was made at around 5:05 a.m. highlighting the infrared close-up satellite images of Jamaica, showing all of the thunderstorms. Look at the high cold cloud tops, the greens, the yellows, oranges, reds, the blacks, the grays, the purples. The purples represent the high end of the scale in terms of all of this thunderstorm activity. And we also had a lot of sparkling white dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. Lots of thunderstorm activity in and around the island last night into this morning. And we even went ahead and went live. So firstly, I went live on YouTube, as I usually do whenever we're having a very bad weather. If it's not a storm, these troughs can definitely cause flooding, and we've been seeing that. Well, we're going to see the footage shortly. I'll show you the footage shortly. As a matter of fact, you can skip it out and head straight there. But I always ensure that I go live, and I'm going to ensure that I do that in the future, if God's willing. Always going live when there is something weather wise, something that's bad that's happening across the island. So as we know, we don't need tropical depressions or storms or hurricanes to cause bad weather. We can have troughs doing the same. And we definitely went live today, and I made the effort to ensure that while I was at work in Kingston, my computer was here on all day, highlighting the infrared close-up satellite image of Jamaica. And I went ahead to even install a Chrome extension, refreshing the page every 5 minutes. So that explains why the images were moving. I wasn't here at all. Computer was here. I'm actually happy that there was no long power outages. There might have been some 1 or 2 power outages, but I might not have been affected because of the battery backup that I possess. But If we take a look at the infrared satellite images that were just posted at around 6 p.m., we can definitely see what we just saw. The deepest convection in the reds and the whites within those reds still off to the south and to the east of us, starting to clear out a bit across especially western Jamaica. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can definitely see all white, lots of clouds. That's what we see when we're out in space. All we're seeing is white, but these infrared close-up satellite images shows where the highest cold cloud tops are located, as represented by the grays, the blacks, the reds, the yellows, and then it's going down in intensity or in height the more we head towards the yellows, the greens, the blues, and the grays, and we can see that all being represented by what we see on the key on the right. So clear, the deepest thunderstorms are off to our east as we speak. Should definitely be clearing out as we speak right now across western parishes. And we definitely have confirmation from See Jamaica's YouTube channel showing the Crossroads live cam. You can see the light to moderate rainfall affecting the hills of St. Andrew, affecting Crossroads in general. We can see people walking with their umbrellas, their rain gear. We can see vehicles passing with their windshield wipers on for sure. Definitely a rainy day, but more on the light to moderate side, nothing too significant to cause severe flooding. And I doubt we even had some thunderstorms throughout the day, some lightning and thunder, especially across Crossroads. And if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the CIMH, that's the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint a picture for we had that rainfall today across the island. Well, it might not be 100% accurate, but it does paint a picture that we got rainfall across sections of most parishes. Definitely saw some heavy rainfall across sections of Portland and St. Mary, especially last night. And we definitely have confirmation from some of our subscribers right here on our YouTube page. We have one comment right here stating, "You forecasting came true because I woke up to some heavy showers of rain this morning. Jamaica here in Lennox, Big Woods, Westmoreland, Jamaica." And that was from Charlene Morris, 2337. We have Jamaica Wilson, 5905, stating from last night, "We having rain and still now in Mobay." Winston WD7 Go stating, "Had rain in South St. Elizabeth last night, overcast today." Veronica Donaldson, IFNV2X, stating, "It is raining all in night in Golden Grove and all now in St. Thomas." Alright, thanks for sharing that. And finally, we have Randall Green stating, "Good afternoon, I'm watching from Jamaica. We don't have any rain in Brownstone, St. Anne now. It is now cloudy skies in Brownstone, St. Anne." Alright, thank you guys for letting me know what's happening. Let us see what's happening regarding our Twitter comments. We have Jackie J stating, "Rain, rain, rain, Kingston 8. Gia Hershey Mitchell stating, "Raining since 3:45 a.m. Even on our Facebook page, we had the comments coming in. Angela Bennett, "It's raining in Manchester." Yoni Thompson, "Sunshine City Portmore, rain, rain, and more rain. I love the weather. Good rain falling for the last quarter. Showers of blessings from God. So we are giving thanks every time." Which is right. We have Roxanne Campbell stating, "Raining in Trelawney." Sophia Stevens, "Raining in St. Mary." And even on our Instagram page, we had the comments coming in. Seldant, rain at Trelawney. I am Den 77. "It's raining now in Hanover." We also have Sassy La Hermosa, "Light rain in Clarendon." Going for what's mine, was raining in Spanish Town. We have First Lady Sage, "Raining Mandeville." Renisha _D, "Raining in Discovery Bay, St. Anne." We have Island Body _Shanzi stating, "Love this for us." I love it as well, because rain, it's always good to have rain, but not too much all at once. Definitely just to keep the temperatures down as well as to keep water in our pipes. And we have the Weekend Living stating, "Rain just drizzled the whole day to box." Well, we'll take it as long as it's not causing flooding. Don't want the flooding at all. I'll take the drizzle over a cloudy or a sunny day any day. But unfortunately, we have some footage coming out here from the National Works Agency's Twitter page. They've stated, and they posted this at around 2:44 p.m. They stated, caution, Craig Mill bypass, Buff Bay to Whitehall yesterday. Approach roads washed out, leaving roadway impassable. And they highlighted this image right here. So we can definitely see that it's definitely impossible right now. You can see all of the water rushing by, but clearly this, what looks like a makeshift bridge, has been damaged for sure. We also have another post here stating blocked. Coopers Hill Road, Portland, completely blocked by landslide. Caution is advised. Guys, all of this was predicted. We saw this coming. Flooding, landslides, here we go. Landslides. I know they're gonna have to get some heavy duty vehicles. We're talking about tractors or whatever the case may be to clear out all of this so people can go about their business. We also have Anne-Marie Vaz's Instagram page showing the heavy rainfall and flooding that took place across portions of Portland last night into this morning. Definitely have some footage of her highlighting this in her area. We can see the silt, the landslide, the garbage, the debris on the road to show how wicked the rainfall was last night into this morning. She stated here she is. My East Portland family, the action team is on the ground with the relevant agencies and private contractors to get us through another round of flooding and devastation from the flash flooding happening now in our parish. We're here and ready to ensure as best as possible that normalcy is restored. That is very good. And we can see her right here highlighting more of the debris, more flooding that took place in her area. And even looks like some of this water went over the banking. We can see the fashion in which the grass or the plants are moving to this direction. Definitely got over. Looks like it might have been blocked by all of this debris, so the water couldn't flow easily under that bridge at all. Why these things happen? This is what we call a flash flood in general, and there could definitely be some more in store. If we take a look at the very latest infrared close-up satellite image of Jamaica that just came out at 0015 UTC. So this just came out at 7:15 p.m. So it came out 14 minutes ago, considering that it's 7:29 p.m. right now. We can see the deepest convection still off to our east as we speak. The reds, the blacks, the grays, and the sparkling white dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. Right now, most of the activity is clearing out, and we see it's definitely clearing out for the most part across Western Jamaica. They're definitely still overcast over there, but the high cold cloud tops seem to be, well, getting higher the more east we go. And if we take a look at the very latest Cuban Doppler radar images, so this was as of 6:40 p.m. and we saw the rainfall, especially to the east of the island. The dark greens, the yellows represent some moderate to heavy rainfall. But let's reload these images. So it's 7:30 p.m. right now. Let us see the latest. Alright, so it's going to be showing us 7:20 p.m. Alright, there we go. 7:20 p.m. We see some rainfall right there to the north of Hanover. Seems to be pushing more towards the southwest. You can also make out some rainfall right there to the south of Kingston, St. Andrews, section of St. Thomas, section of Southern Clarendon. Maybe getting on some drizzle still as we speak. You can also make out that heavy rainfall that we saw to the east of Jamaica between Haiti and the western peninsula of Cuba. So all of this makes sense. Deepest convection to our east right now, and the heaviest rainfall in the latest Cuban Doppler radar image to our east. If we take a look at the latest Guantanamo Bay Cuban naval radar imagery, we can make out that the heaviest rainfall is definitely between Jamaica and Haiti. We see the blues, we see the greens, we see the yellows represent some light to moderate to some heavy rainfall, especially in those yellows right there. Anybody out to sea, fishermen out at sea, whatever the case may be, they're definitely getting in on some bad weather right now. If we take a look at the latest Cayman radar imagery, we can make out some hit or miss isolated showers mostly to the south of Grand Cayman. We see the blue specks, we see the green specks. Definitely some hit or miss isolated showers, nothing too significant right now. If you take a look at the Flatbridge cam, not seeing much happening. It looks like St. Catherine has been getting on much of the rainfall at all. Flatbridge definitely chilling for right now, as we can see here. Doesn't look like the river is in spate or anything like that. Definitely calm for now. We'll see exactly how it is at the end of this week when we are finished with most of the rainfall. If we take a look at, by the way, I'd like for you to keep in mind that these live streams are on See Jamaica's YouTube channel, guys. Subscribe to their channel. They show live streams of not only Flatbridge, Crossroads that I showed you earlier, halfway through the Kingston Harbor, the panoramic city view. If you don't know, but we have a partnership with that channel, guys. Subscribe today so that you don't miss out with whatever is to come, just in case they install a camera in your area. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Could definitely be lower than that. And as we head into 4 a.m. on Wednesday, the temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Wednesday when calculated. That's 1 p.m. on Wednesday. And we can see Jamaica right here for the most part embedded in gray colors. And we know the gray colors represent 0 on the key. That represents not above normal temperatures in the yellows, oranges, or reds. Not below normal temperatures in the blues or greens, but average or normal temperatures for the month of November. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of November across Jamaica are around 88 degrees Fahrenheit. And when 88 degrees Fahrenheit is calculated and converted to degrees Celsius, we're talking about 31.1 degrees Celsius. So anywhere from 30 to 31, maybe even lower than that, especially where we're having the rainfall. If it's going to be a bit too hot for you tomorrow, or if you have plans, we're highlighting that there are going to be some maintenance outages for these areas, courtesy of JPS doing some amount of work. So they've stated here that Enfield and Penfield are going to receive outages at around 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's in St. Andrew for Wednesday. We also have outages for Pondside to Thompson Hill. That's in Hanover, anytime between 9:15 a.m. to 6 p.m. We also have Steerfield to Lidford in St. Anne. That's anytime from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. on Wednesday as well. And finally, we have areas from Norman Manor International Airport roundabout to Port Royal. Power outages in store from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Maintenance outage advisory in store. So it's from the roundabout. Let's hope it's not actually at the airport. Because boy, I saw videos once that the airport was out of power, and boy, the heat, I can just imagine. But if you live in these areas, or if you know persons who live or work in these areas, let them know that a power outage is coming their way. Alright, so let's continue. So if tomorrow is going to be a bit too hot for you, you have to try to beat the heat with these tips. And as usual, I start right here. Seek shade when you're outside. Eat fresh. Try eating cold food such as salads and fruits. Rest to make sure you get enough sleep, and rest if you're feeling tired. Soak, take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to always keep hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water. Put away the sugar drinks. Drink water instead. If we take a look at the dry air map, we know the dry air is represented by what we see on the key on the bottom, the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. And we see a lot of dry air across the waters of the northern Bahamas, the western Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, off the east coast of the United States, touching all the way down into portions of the main development region right here. And we see more moist air wherever we have these clouds on the blues. That's a lot of moist air in our area for sure, and we're indeed grateful for that. We'll take the moist air rather than the dry air. And regarding the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Wednesday, we can make out Jamaica right here, definitely in the clear. So too North America, the Bahamas, the Caribbean, South America, into Central America, because all of the dust as represented by the brown colors should be stretching all the way from Africa into portions of the May Development region. Who knows, maybe some portions of eastern South America might get in on some of the slight Saharan dust, but we're glad that it's not that vigorous plume that we know is represented by the dark shades of browns that can cause very hazy skies and trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some persons. We're talking about asthma, sinusitis, you name it. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we see the highest waves should be right here across the waters to the north of the main development region. We see the purples, we see the burgundies, and we know all of that represents what we see on the key on the bottom right. Anywhere from 2 all the way up to maybe 6 meter wave heights. While the Caribbean seems to be getting in on more blues, anywhere from 1 maybe up to 1.5 meter wave heights. And that's because the winds are going to be averaging anywhere from 10 all the way up to maybe 20 knots, maybe up to 25 knots in and around the Cayman Islands, where we have that strong northeasterly flow in the yellows. We know the yellows represents up to the 25 knot wind speed. And we see that for the most part, the winds should be coming in from the east, from the eastern to the central, and maybe even close to the southwestern Caribbean. But if we take a closer look at Jamaica, we see the flow more of a northeasterly kind of flow on the north coast, more of an easterly flow on the south coast for sure, right there. And we also see the least amount of winds across southern parishes. So if we're going to be getting in on some daytime heating rainfall, that's if we don't have the clouds blocking out the sun all day. More than likely the daytime heating, afternoon diurnal convection could take place across sections of some southern parishes. But according to the models, it looks like it's going to be raining throughout the day. Let's see exactly what unfolds. But first, we see the upper level winds coming in more so from the west southwest tomorrow. So it's definitely favoring sections of most parishes in general, not necessarily all of northern parishes only, but definitely a section of some southern parishes could get in on some of the rainfall as well. And if we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps now, these maps are why we're actually here. This is what we actually want to see. And we see that for 11 p.m. tonight, Tuesday night, we're still in for some amount of isolated showers, more blues than anything else, across sections of St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, maybe sections of St. Thomas. The GFS trying to give us rainfall across those same areas. But we see Trelawney, St. James getting in on the mix, even coastal areas of Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Skipping it to about 3 a.m. This is what the Euro shows, this is what the GFS shows. Euro shows most of the rainfall across the eastern portion of the island. Look at the dark blues, the greens, the yellows. That's ridiculous if it actually verifies. GFS a bit more reserved and a bit more widespread with the rainfall forecast. Seeing more rainfall across western, northern, and eastern parishes for that time. Skipping ahead now to about 7 a.m. on Wednesday, we see the rainfall for eastern parishes, even into section of St. Catherine. On the year of the GFS, more so coastal areas of some southern parishes as well as some western parishes. We'll see exactly what unfolds. We see the models are definitely all over the place. Just like yesterday, as I've stated, when it comes to these troughs, we have to take these forecasts with a grain of salt. They are not 100% accurate. The models are not sure what's going to be happening. As a matter of fact, no meteorologist out there can tell you exactly what's going to be happening regarding these troughs. They're going to be wrong or off in some way. We just have to wake up and see what's unfolding. As of right now, the infrared satellite images, as a matter of fact, let's reload these so we can see what's happening right now and see if we can deduce what might happen. So we see what's been happening. We saw the deepest convection, the strongest thunderstorms were definitely off to our south, and we can see the high cold cloud tops still being pushed off to the north. We see like the strong thunderstorms are kind of being sheared off to the east. So I wouldn't be surprised if we wake up and more of the thunderstorms are over this side, maybe to the south of Haiti. Maybe Jamaica missing out. Maybe Jamaica getting in on more of that northeasterly flow like what the Western Caribbean is getting in on as we speak. Let's see what actually unfolds, because you know that wind direction has a lot to do with it. Alright, so we already showed 11 a.m. Did we? Either way, 11 a.m. is showing rainfall across central and eastern parishes for the Euro. The GFS something similar. Skipping ahead now, 3 p.m. now. We see rainfall across eastern, central, and especially western parishes on the Euro. The GFS having rainfall across sections of eastern, central, and western parishes, especially northwestern parishes. We're talking about Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland. Then finally, we're wrapping up right here. 10 p.m. on Wednesday, we see the rainfall across the eastern end of the island. We're talking about eastern Portland, eastern St. Thomas. And we see the GFS showing something similar, as well as bringing some rainfall to section of the northwest. Not seeing the northwest getting on that rainfall on the Euro though. Either way, we see the consensus. There could be rainfall across sections of the island within the next 24 hours. And we see the accumulated precipitation forecast maps from the Euro and the GFS in consensus with this. We see the yellows, we see the oranges, we see the reds. That represents up to 1 inch of rainfall or more, especially across eastern parishes according to the Euro. GFS even more robust, showing the rainfall up to eastern parishes, but even some purples out to sea, and some pinks that represents the 3 all the way up to the 4 inches of rainfall. We'll see exactly what unfolds within the next 24 hours. As I've stated before, it could be a case we get the heaviest rainfall tonight or in the early morning hours of Wednesday, or we wake up tomorrow morning to heavy rainfall, or we wake up to sunshine or cloudy conditions. We have to take these forecasts a grain of salt. It could be a case where all of the rainfall is out to sea, maybe affecting Haiti or the waters of the Caribbean. We'll see exactly what unfolds when we wake up. I know many of you guys are praying for the rainfall to be affecting us in the morning hours when we're getting ready for school or work, that we don't get to go. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, we have to highlight the bar graphs that show the rainfall that we usually receive throughout the year. We know in Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive up to 50 millimeters of rainfall. That's 2 inches of rainfall for the year. And I'm 100% sure that we've exceeded that for November, given Raphael, the tropical wave that brought us Sarah, as well as this trough. In Montego Bay, we usually receive up to 5 inches. That's almost 125 millimeters of rainfall throughout this month. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish receives, if you live in Westmoreland, if you live in Hanover, if you live in Portland, and you want to know what your parish receives throughout the year in terms of rainfall from January to December, you can visit this website right here. That's weatherandclimate.com, and that website will show you that information. And regarding rainfall on the rain gauge, we know it's usually measured in inches and millimeters, and even feet as well, but we're working with inches and millimeters. You can do the calculations yourself. You know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have that nice low level flow from east to west across the waters to the south of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. Lots of moisture heading into that very trough system, that whole wall of showers and thunderstorms right here. We have some more showers pushing in from the east to affect sections of Trinidad and Tobago. We already saw the rainfall forecast maps. They've been getting in a lot of rainfall, and there's still more rainfall to come. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, let us see what's happening right now. Alright, so right now the latest Doppler radar images as of 7:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we can make out the greens, the yellows, oranges, reds. That represents some moderate to heavy rainfall to the south of Puerto Rico. Some rainfall isolated at that across the eastern or the southeastern end of the Dominican Republic. Some rainfall to the east of Antigua and Barbuda. If we load these images from earlier today, we can see that the waters to the south of Puerto Rico are definitely getting plagued by some moderate to heavy rainfall, and we can see some hit or miss isolated showers coming in from the east to affect sections of the Leeward Islands as well. If we take a look at the Barbados radar, we can make out some rainfall coming in from the east to affect sections of Dominica, Martinique, sections of St. Lucia, sections of northern St. Vincent. Not much across the Grenadines, but section of Grenada getting on some isolated shores. Maybe section of Trinidad earlier, well, Tobago earlier. We see some rainfall right there to the east of Tobago. Some isolated right there across northeastern Trinidad. If we take a look at the weather view of Doppler radar images, we can make out some rainfall to the south of the Cayman Islands like we saw on the Cayman radar. We can also make out some rainfall to the east of Nicaragua associated with that trough. Some rainfall across the section of Colombia. Some rainfall across the eastern portion of Venezuela. And that's basically it. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, this map from the GFS and this map from the Euro are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday. And we can see that the southern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos still going to be getting a lot of rainfall. The Cayman Islands on the edge of the rainfall. We can see that there's definitely going to be some isolated shores for the western end of Cuba, the eastern end of Cuba, Haiti, the Dominican Republic. We're talking about Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, Anguilla, St. Bart's, Antigua and Barbuda, Martinique, Guadeloupe, Dominica, sections of St. Lucia, Barbados. Let's see. We can also see some rainfall in store for sections of Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Trinidad and Tobago, sections of Guyana, maybe coastal areas of Suriname. Not seeing much on the GFS for Suriname or French Guyana, but definitely across all of Suriname and French Guyana on the Euro. We can also see southern Venezuela, western Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, as well as coastal areas of Belize, as well as into sections of Guatemala getting on some amount of rainfall. We know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.